Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're fine. I am here. As you can see, I'm here alone. Okay. My boo decided to just put me out here all by my lonesome, but I'm not alone today. I got my sisters who are going to come and we're going to chat it up. I'm so excited about tonight, guys. So I need you to do me a favor before we get this on and popping. Somebody say on and popping. Period. I need you to share it. Share. Yes, there will be ladies talking tonight, but everybody's welcome. Everyone is welcome. So share right now to your group chats, to your WhatsApp groups. You guys, you have like 17 million of those going at the same time, right? Send it to your WhatsApp groups, send it to your girls chat. Listen, it's ladies' night. We're going to talk. We got some good stuff to talk about tonight. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get started. But I really need you to get your people up in here. So share the link. All it takes is literally a second. You just click share and we're good to go. All right. So if you are here, I see we got some people here already. So let me know, where are you watching from? I already see that Brooklyn is in the house. Brooklyn is always in the house. I low-key rep Brooklyn. Low-key. Very low-key. But I'm a Queens girl. All day, baby. Oh, thank you. Listen, I decided to wear my pink earrings tonight because, listen, it's ladies' night. Okay. Thank you, Princessa. That's my sister, too. Freeport in the house. We got Brooklyn, of course. Go hard. I know we have some Long Island fellow here. Somebody said Trini. Are you actually in Trinidad, or you just rep Trini? Because if you're from Trinidad, that's a way cool. We got a Trini person up in the house. So exciting. All right, guys. So before I get my ladies on, housekeeping rules. You know what you got to do. If you have been coming consistently every week and you still haven't subscribed, you still haven't followed, I'm looking at you like this. Like, what's up? Just follow, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're always notified when we are posting or going live. Share it. Follow us on Love Talks with the Garcons on IG. Follow us on Facebook. Same, Love Talks with the Garcons. And right here on YouTube, those of you who are watching on YouTube, Love Talks with the Garcons. Yeah, so we're gonna, I don't know what you said. We're gonna get started. I'm going to invite my. What are you doing? This is a ladies' night, bro. You cannot be popping your head. He's handling all the tech stuff for me, guys. So he is kind of here, but he's not here. It's just me. All right. And I want to see how much love I can get just all by myself. Like, babe, I think they love me. I think they love me more than they love us. But anyway, we got White Plains. Yes. And I guys, and guess what? The ladies that I'm going to bring on are all from different places too. So we're repping like all the states, kind of, right? We are. All right. So first up, I'm going to introduce the one who came first, the one who was on time. You know who you are. No shade to my other ladies. My girl Miranda to the stage. Hey, Miranda.
Hey, Ann. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for joining me tonight.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. Kind of felt alone, but I was like, you know what? My girls are gonna come and they're gonna hold me down. So
Yep, we sure are. We're ready for some good conversation tonight.
Period. Like, we got to say that every time you come on. So the next person I bring on, make sure after we get our little chit chat going, you say period. Can we say period in the chat? Period. With the T at the end. All right. My next guest tonight is none other than, should I say pastor or should I just say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get it right. None other than Pastor Terry Conadofo, my sis.
T-Dog in the building, period.
Period. I love it. T-Dog in the building. Guys, we're going to have a really, really good time tonight. All right.
Yes, we are.
We want you guys to engage with us in the chat because when women get together, we got a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot to say. All right, let's get the final lady up in here. The latest one. But I don't know if she heard. She's backstage, so she couldn't hear that.
I heard it though because I was definitely on an 8:50 as requested. But okay.
I didn't say you were late. I just said you were second. Okay. Let's
Okay.
get Tamar, my girl Tamar.
It's ladies' night, period. Hi, everybody. How we doing?
Hi. Oh my gosh, ladies, I'm so excited about our time tonight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something to remember. Like I said, when women get together, we just got stuff to say. And so tonight, Digital Ladies Night, period. Somebody just said, thank you, Nyasha. Digital Ladies Night, period. So before we get into our conversation, just introduce yourselves to our viewers. Let them know who you are, your status, and yeah. So let's start with Miranda.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Miranda. I love me some Anne Garcon, and so I'm so happy to be here tonight. I am currently married. I've been with my spouse or my husband rather, for 5 years. We've been married for 5.5 years, really, together for 8 years. And I'm just so excited to share in some conversation tonight. So we have some good topics on the agenda tonight. So I'm excited to be here. Anything else you want me to share, Anne? I don't know.
What?
Anything else you want me to share? I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. That was good.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Terry. Pastor T.
T-Dog.
No, T-Dog.
T-Dog.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so honored to be here with all of my ladies. My soror Miranda's here. My sister, oh my God, Anne, I think it's about 20 years. We go back about 20 years right now. Hopefully we only still look 25. Amen. Period. And I'm very excited to be here and to meet my new sister, Tamar. And I have been married. This year makes 11 years married. And I think 11 and a half years dating because it was real quick.
Real quick.
He saw what he wanted. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank you, T-Dog. Let's go, Tamar.
Hey, everyone. My name is Tamar. For my Haitian people, y'all know y'all call me Tamar. It's fine. I am I've been married to my wonderful husband. This year will give us 8 years together, 14. And we are currently living in Florida, but I rep New Jersey, okay? I just get my paycheck and I pay my mortgage in Florida, but I'm very much from Jersey. I just have to make that.
Yeah. Hubby and I are low-key allergic to Jersey, but
Ooh,
we love you. We love Miranda. We love you guys. But
I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, but currently living in Jersey.
So what are you repping?
You know, I'm always going to have to rep Brooklyn. All right. Always going to have to rep Brooklyn. But I do love the Jersey life. Let's not get it twisted.
You love that Jersey. You love that Jersey mortgage or rent, right?
Right.
All of it. The peace, everything.
I hear you, girl.
Love it. So I love that you guys are here. Now I want you guys to know. Now I know everyone probably noticed, like, they're all married. Yeah, we're all married. This is the married ladies edition, but we're gonna have a single ladies edition. Just give me some time, okay? We gotta roll this out in a certain way. But yeah, we're all
single ladies tonight too.
Say it again.
We'll be talking about single ladies.
We definitely will. We definitely will, because we weren't always married.
I think the single woman forget that sometimes.
Right.
We were not always married. So we can relate to what you're going through sometimes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so tonight we're gonna really delve into different topics, right? If you notice the title for tonight's live is Let's Talk About
a soft life.
Automatically, you were like, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about, right?
Girl,
That's
you're
what you
dating
were
us. You are dating us.
clickbait. But yeah, so I mean, we definitely gonna get into sex, right? But we're really gonna be talking about some of these S words. Excuse me. And so the first thing I wanted to kind of talk about was, right? So we live in this kind of feminist movement, right? Where women are like super women. Let's talk about super women for a second, right? Where they feel like they have to kind of be this strong and independent woman, where like I don't need a man. I could do battle by myself. It's me and my girls, that type of mentality, right? And I've actually encountered women who have this kind of superwoman complex where they will almost not forfeit, but kind of forfeit, or really kind of sabotage a potential lifelong fruitful relationship, right?
Mhm.
And so I wanted to talk about that woman. Like, why do you think so many women develop this superwoman complex to the point of risking a potential really good relationship?
Yeah. If I may start, I think that's such a really good question, and one of the things I've recognized, and you can look at some research, and you can look at just scholarly articles and things of that nature, and I think, and I'll talk particularly about the Black woman, right? I'm gonna narrow it down tonight a bit. I think that when we look at the history of incarceration of Black men, I think for so many years, Black men have been incarcerated, and we look at our Black communities and we see that there's no father figure in the home, right? And so we find that for many generations, women had to basically carry their families, right? So even after giving birth, even after having a partner, when that man was pulled away into the jail system and had to serve years and years and years, and if we look at history, if we're looking at some of the laws and things that they're trying to undo now, right? That where Black men have been incarcerated at a higher rate for minimum crimes, right? And so when you have this generation of women who have had to do it on their own, who had to work, who had to be both mother and father, who had to raise children on their own, what you really did was you built women to a place where they felt like, okay, it's natural that I don't need this other person in my life. When in reality, we see that homes where two-parent homes have children are developed better in a home where there are two parents.
Yeah.
You know that.
And now you're raising daughters who are seeing that, and we are our children's first teachers. So when my mama did it, I could do it. And maybe they feel like not even she can do it, but I'm forced to do it. Because you said the word generation. We can also pass down generational patterns, just like we pass down generational curses. So then it begins this cycle of, well, my mama did it. She had to do it. She had to be this strong woman. I also want to, maybe this is later on, talking about, well, what really is the definition of a strong woman?
Yeah.
Because that's a whole nother topic within itself. But now you're having these daughters watch their mother do it. So when this young man that comes along, and God forbid you don't make as much as me, you're just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But speaking about patterns, though, what were they watching their mother doing? Were they watching their mother, maybe participate in trying to find the right guy? So there's always a different face every couple of
Rotation.
years, and just trying to find the right person and seeing letdown after letdown after letdown. And even before, maybe that young man or that young daughter has seen the right father figure or the right person that they could look up to, that the daughter can say, one day I would love to marry someone like this. Or the father or the young son can say, one day I'd like to be like. So that's probably missing when we're talking about patterns. What are they watching? What are they viewing? What is their environment, feeding into that? So by the time they come to date, maybe they've already made up their minds. And let's not talk about that. The dating pool is absolutely dirty at the point.
Absolutely.
Let's not.
It's like piss, right? Piss in the pool.
I heard it's not even piss anymore. It's poison. That's
no. We're not gonna fix it. It's bad. So I'm so thankful for this space, because I felt like, it's difficult as married women trying to pray and encourage women that are still, that are waiting. Because it's slim out here. It's slim. So I think because of that, women are having to be like, you know what? I'll figure it out. Just like Pastor T-Dog said, I'm good. I'm good.
Or I'm going to settle. I'm going to settle for maybe nothing, or just kind of get for whatever I can get, which is really sad. Like it breaks my heart, because there's some really good women out there who really desire relationship, who desire compatibility, companionship, right? And this is like they're being robbed of that. But now, like, what kind of work like do they have to do within themselves to be open to, like, even because there are some really good men out there. Like, we all got one, right? Praise God. Right. And I'm doing my job to raise a son that will be good in the pool.
Same.
Okay.
Amen.
we gotta break the cycle somewhere, right? Some girl is going to be very happy that they met an Owen, because right, because I'm doing that work to make sure that he knows how to treat women, he knows how to respect them, right? And so there are some good men out there, but there are some women who just really kind of put up this wall because of what they've been through, right? Like what you mentioned, Miranda, like they put up this wall. Like, so what is the work that they need to do within themselves to kind of be open to like love, being open to being catered to and being cared for?
I think the first step, and I'm sorry, did I?
No, go ahead. I said forgiveness, but I'll touch upon that later.
Okay. I'm not a mental health therapist at all, but one of my great friends is, and we're always talking, and the first step is identifying that you do have this problem. I think let's start there. And how do you do that? If you find yourself always turning down someone or just thinking negative, and never having anything positive to even say or think about the idea of dating or the idea of marriage, or maybe you're just like turned off by it, something may be wrong. Like that may be your way of coping. It's not that you really feel that way, but it can be a defense mechanism, because if I don't put up this stance, then I'm going to be depressed about it. So I would say the first thing is identifying, do I have that problem? Is that why I'm always talking so negative? Is that why I'm always hating on somebody else's relationship? Is that why I don't want to press like on their picture, on their couple picture?
Come on.
Talk
about those inner things, right?
Yeah. Let's be real with ourselves first.
Yeah. I love that. What were you going to say, Miranda?
Oh, so I said forgiveness, right? Because, and I'll get a little personal here. Prior to meeting my husband, I had been in a relationship, a 7-year relationship with someone who was narcissistic. It wasn't a healthy relationship, right? And when I had finally gotten to the point where I walked away for good, I had to forgive for me, not for him.
Yeah.
Because if I was walking around and harboring these feelings of hurt and pain, and, I wouldn't be able to be in a mental space to receive the love that my husband had for me, that he was willing to give me. And so you know, it goes in line with what Pastor T Dog said, right? It's being aware, having that self-reflection, to be able to say, okay, I have some trauma. You know, there are things that I need to work on internally to bring me to a place where I can receive the love that a man may potentially give me.
I was going to say trusting God with vulnerability, because I think that's one of the obstacles, that's one of the barriers that women that go through hurt and pain, and they've developed this shell around their heart, and it's just kind of like defense mode, protection mode, but trusting God that they can be vulnerable with the one that, you know, is meeting them at that level, meeting them where they are, that it's not just, there's a lot of women that suffer from constantly being the giver. They're the giver in families, they're the giver in their friendships, and even in their relationships, they are never the one that gets to sit back and receive and be affirmed. So because of that, that wall is thick. So I think that ends up being a symptom of, you know, the wall and the hyper independence, and because I just need to do me. I just need to focus on me. So I think that's one thing that just women are really just afraid of, due to the trauma, due to the lack of self-awareness. They are not willing to be vulnerable, and go through the motions and go through the process of meeting someone new and trusting someone with their feelings, trusting someone with their emotions.
Ooh, it's that trust word, right?
Can I add one more thing? I gotta add one more thing.
Go ahead.
You gotta like yourself.
Girl, I was just about to say that.
Come on, so listen.
You gotta like
You hear,
yourself.
sis. You hear.
Okay? You have to like yourself. Because if you don't like yourself, no one else will like you. If you can't tolerate your own self, no one else will tolerate you. Right. And I say that in various levels, right? You have to have the confidence level. You have to walk this earth. And I also, when I mentor young women who talk about wanting marriage and all these things, I say you have to walk with a level of confidence where no matter what room you walk into that room and you own it like you belong there, because you do.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like I walk in any space with confidence.
Period.
Yes, she does.
And so
all 4 feet of her.
Period.
But let me question,
right?
Let me question. I wasn't always that way. When I left that relationship I talked about, right? I made a personal decision that I would never let myself go physically in another relationship again. Because I had lost myself in that relationship. And so in between that time, I took time to rebuild. I took time to rebuild myself, how I look physically. I took time to rebuild emotionally. I took time to rebuild my confidence level. I took time for me, right? And so if you don't like yourself and there are so many insecurities that you're dealing with personally, you're going to find yourself in this repetitive cycle of not being able to truly accept real love and just latching on to anything and anyone who just shows you just a little bit of attention because you don't like yourself. Right? So you have to heal and you have to walk and own it because you do.
And knowing that you're knowing that you're deserving of love, like you're deserving of someone great. You're deserving of that life that you want, that you want to live, right? Like when you know yourself, when you know who you are, you're like, okay, well, yeah, he likes me, but he doesn't match up to the standards that I have, my non-negotiables, right? You got to know that you deserve love. You deserve good things to happen to you.
Absolutely.
Right? You deserve good relationships, right? No matter what happened in the past, that doesn't define you. It's not, that's not you. That's not your story. It's what you went through, but that's not who you are.
Correct.
And I just want to piggyback off of what Miranda said and what you said it's not Tamar, it's Tamar.
Oh no, it's not Tamar. Tamar is fine.
Tamar. Okay, I apologize.
Fun fact, Pastor T Dog ain't Haitian.
Yes, I'm only Haitian by association. I eat all of the food.
Yeah. I always tell her I'm sorry to hear that. But
I grew up with Haitian. All my high school life, my college life. I love you guys. But yet Miranda, and a good man can pick that up, and that's a turn off. That really is a turn off to, like, we're talking about a good man that you should want to marry.
Talk about it.
Like, since you're a little, you know. And we talked about that word trust. Tamar said trust in God with your vulnerability. We can also just add trust in God, trust in God that our Father has what's best for us.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you said that, it kind of, when you said that he can sense that, but a good man can also sense when someone doesn't need them. When someone feels like they can do it all by themselves, it can also kind of intimidate them. Like, okay, she's a little too like strong for me. Like, where is there room for me in her life? Right? When you show up with this superwoman complex where you can do all things, like, listen, I'll pick up a hammer and I'll put that thing back together. I'm not doing none of that.
Because a real man don't want to be in a relationship with another man.
Okay. Say that one more time, please.
A real man
say for them in the back.
A real man does not want to be in a relationship with another man.
He does not want to be in a
relationship. Even for those women that do have that quality being like kind of like their strongest quality, well, at least move over and let him hammer with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Ways to navigate that a little bit more.
He got to tell you where to hammer. They got to tell you.
Like, was it here? Or was it right here? Is this
right?
Like, show some type of like,
show me,
they like to be wanted, right? Give him some room to show you that he got BB. Like,
like, you thought about that all by yourself, babe? That's what I suggested that last week. Yes, you go.
Right. So I love that. I mean, and I really wanted to shed light on this because I just need women everywhere to know, like, know your value, know your worth.
Yeah.
And it's okay to put or to take your cape off. It's okay to take your cape off and let somebody step in and be the Superman in your life, right? I love my Superman. Like, I'm like, and there are things that I can do by myself, but because I've made or created space for him, certain things I don't have to do. Right. And that kind of, helps me kind of go into this next topic where we talk about the soft life. Right. Let's talk about the soft life. Right. This is a new terminology that just came out. Like, I just need to know. We got some people in. Sorry, let me just pause real quick. We got some people on IG because you guys can't see the comments on IG.
That's what I was about to ask you. I'm like, we can't get a blurb or something.
Yeah, sorry, y'all can't see the. I just gotta let y'all know what they're saying. But yeah, they're agreeing with us. I am deserving. Somebody said y'all talking good. Okay. That's Shani Beam FT. Okay.
Oh, that's from the Ark Church. Hey,
Shani. Yay. And then someone said that you just said this the other day. I guess I don't know what that's referring to, but yeah. Oh, y'all can if you guys use your phone, you can watch from there. But yeah, so let's talk about that soft life. All right. First of all, because there's always, like, I don't know if I'm just too old, but I can't keep up.
Like, things are changing. They're changing. They're changing too fast.
Changing too fast. I can't keep up. What exactly? If y'all can help me up in these comments, like, because I know some of you guys, you're probably living one. I think I'm living one though. The kind of what is the soft life to you? What do you? Well, how do you define a soft life?
So I brought this up. I talked about there's a group chat that the ladies in my church are in,
Mm-hmm.
and the question came up, and I said I had the same question because of my age. I guess like, it's hard to really keep up with. Now this is something everyone wants the soft life, and my definition, based on what I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
is that this Prince Charming comes and whisks you away and pays all your bills, right? And you never have to work, and he just takes you on vacations, and you guys post really pretty pictures for Instagram, right? But I was explained that it's more to that. But that's just from what I hear, because everybody wants this. I want this soft life, so I don't have to pay my bills. Oh, okay.
Oh, God. Someone said, somebody said, I love a soft life. That's Shani again. She said, being a woman unapologetically, not being a man. Not being a man. So in my mind, it kind of connects to what you were saying, Terry. This soft life is just, I can just live and not have to care about things. Like I can just be me, and I could go and do my nails and do my hair and know that my man is probably paying for it, or giving me that space to just go out with my girls, go to the spa. It's kind of like self-care.
All of that.
Right?
All of that.
Oh, what are you thinking, Tamar?
Is it new? Is it new or
it's not? Is it new? I don't know.
did they just reterm it? I don't.
It's definitely not self-care.
It's not self-care. Okay.
Okay, so here's how it's breaking out in my head. We as women, we have 95,000 internet tabs open in our brain.
Constantly,
right?
correct.
Okay.
And each tab is responsible for a person, a place, a thing, a ministry, a group, a club, a decision, a goal, an ambition, a job, a goal. And I think the soft life is not just closing all of those tabs and not having to be the sole decision maker for the way that things, because you have the resources, because you have the bandwidth, all of those internet tabs have to close, and you could just wake up and the day is yours. You could just, because I feel like when I'm looking at like the different things on social media, it's just like, you wake up at 10:30 in the morning. If you want to have a cup of coffee at on your balcony, or you want to go to the park with your kids, or you want to go out on vacation and book the tickets on Tuesday and leave on Wednesday. Like, I don't want to attribute it so much to like an economic structure or anything, but it's like you are coasting on the lack of not having to make decisions, not having to clock in at work, not having to, check in with everybody, and everything is just coasting. And the weight, that's the word I was looking for, the weight and the burden that it is to be a woman, a wife, a mother, all of that burden just kind of decreases, and it's like, woosah. If the decisions about what was for dinner, what we making for dinner, that is probably the one thing I can't stand every single day.
Girl.
Is what we making for dinner.
And then the question, what's for dinner? What's for dinner?
If I didn't have to, thinking that, I literally said that today. I was like, I could just get a chef and I wouldn't have to make this decision. I wouldn't have to make this decision anymore. Somebody can make it for me. The burden of that immediately makes me feel a little better. And I'm like, oh, that does feel soft. So the softer life becomes when there's less decisions that you have to make. Who's picking clothes for Sunday morning? I could have a stylist just give me a whole panel for that, and I have to do that. So I think all of those things are surrounding just releasing the burden, releasing the stress of being the not necessarily the sole decision maker, but the driver behind a lot of decisions in our household and stuff like that.
So kind of like being relieved of not responsibilities, but kind of responsibilities. I want to read some of the comments that
super delegation.
I didn't hear that. What'd you say?
Super delegation.
Super delegation, right? Yeah. Someone said there's trending reels. This is styled by Bonita. She said there's trending reels about women not having to think or use their brain around their husbands. Okay. I
Mhm.
need to see these reels. Like someone said, it's
They're fun.
subjective, honestly. But for me, it's not unrealistic. TikTok's about not thinking so hard about everything all the time because your man got you.
Mhm.
So it's really depending on a man to do things for you, to take care of you.
Right. And she's right, because I think I know one of the TikToks and reels that she's referring to, and I think I actually like that reel because it related to me, where this woman was just walking with her maid, and she's just like la 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 singing in her mind, and he's looking at every exit, every door, every, just thinking about if something happens, what's the plan, like, right, how can we get out of here safely? And that's it for me. It's about security, and I think that's what I was going to attribute this soft life to: feeling secure, feeling that your spouse has your back. Like, for me, after God, I can walk mindlessly in public when I'm with my spouse because I know he's got me.
Yeah.
And
So now we talking.
Okay. Yeah.
down the street, literally, I know he's gonna grab my hand and make sure I'm on the inner part,
Inside,
right,
correct.
and I'm not on the side of the street. I know
Correct.
that as we're crossing the street, we're crossing each other because he's always constantly moving me around.
We don't touch doors. We
Right.
don't touch doors.
I know that when I'm getting in the car, he's opening the car door,
Correct.
making sure that I'm inside. I know that if it's raining, he's making sure I'm inside of the car, and he's
Correct.
going to close that umbrella to make sure this hair don't get wet, right?
I was rolling up.
So
Yeah,
for
all of
me,
that.
it's security. That's and I love that we say that the soft life doesn't always mean you just have everything set financially and you don't have to worry about any bills, right?
Yeah,
That's not what
let's
the
make
soft
sure
life
that that's not what we're talking about.
Because
that's
baby, there
That's
are
unrealistic.
women who their bills are fully paid for and they still don't have the soft life.
Very good.
Because the person that they're with
Correct.
is not emotionally stable,
Available.
and it's not someone who's available, who's loving, and who truly cares about them. So I don't think you can always attribute soft life
with money,
finances, right?
Finances. Yeah, just like Tamar was expressing. Yeah.
But girls, if I'm in the street, I know I am mindless. I'm not thinking about security.
So Miranda, you live in a soft life. So Miranda, you live in a soft life.
I feel like I am.
Amen. I
So
love that.
I was also going to bring up that I think that this soft life may be subjective to the woman's needs. You know what I mean? Like first of all, I grew up, if you know my mom, she grew me up to be an independent woman. I'm very independent, hold myself down. I'm not a feminist. I want a man, need one. Thank you very much. However, I'm an independent woman that submits to my husband with no problem, love him to death. Finances, cool. He got me, I got him. You know what I mean? But when it comes to that security, like I had to stop my husband from beating Pastor from going to get the neighbor because I said the neighbor yelled at me for a parking spot. He was like, which one? Tell me which house. I said, tell me which house. Feel me? So I guess that's me and myself. I feel so safe with myself.
Yeah.
Like he's not letting anything, anyone, my children, we are safe. We're not rich yet, but we are safe.
Yeah. I think when we're talking about the soft life, I think there's two words that they just go together. That safety, that security, that I think the image that comes to my mind is when I think about when people take a road trip, right? And it's just two people. Technically, both people are driving. There's one person that's driving. Well, one person has to stay awake to kind of, keep the person that's driving awake and aware and alert. But it's like when that person makes you safe and secure, it's bedtime. And I'm just going to trust that we're going to get to our destination. I'm going to trust that you did what you needed to do to equip yourself, to get yourself prepared, to get yourself ready. And then when I'm tired, I'll sleep and I'll trust that we'll get to where we're going.
We're going to get there.
We're going to get there. That's soft life for me. The feeling of like, you don't want to come around here, brother. Like this man don't.
Like, well, let me tell you, can I be honest with you? This whole my husband makes all the decisions. That's where the independent woman come out for me. And I'm like, I don't know. Sorry. I don't know if it's not biblical, but I have a brain. I have a brain for a reason. I have a very intelligent brain. I have a lot of school.
You jumping ahead. We're gonna start. We're gonna get there. Let's just kind of sit in this soft life for a little bit longer. I kind of feel like I'm living a soft life. After we kind of just described what a soft life looks like, but it's like you said, it's really dependent on what we need, right? Like I have that emotional security that I need. I have like I really don't have to care or worry about certain things because like I got my Superman that can do that for me, right? And so for me, that has created a soft life, right? Like not have to, worry or feel like I'm not secure in certain areas. And a lot of the words that you ladies were sharing, a lot of the ladies on here were saying the same thing: safety and security, right? And someone said, wait, let me see what he said.
While you're looking for that, can I interject with a question, Anne? All of the words that we're talking about, and I'm asking you because you are the marriage expert, Love Talks with the Garcons, shout out to them. And that's why I think this is a new idea, because what is the difference between what we're describing and a healthy marriage?
Come on.
Why is this new? That's what I'm like, what is this new idea of?
Why is it new, right? We're really describing
new name,
right? It's a new name. You know how the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing.
Right. Y'all just keep on creating new terms for the same thing. Right?
Okay,
you're right. It's a healthy marriage. When you're in a healthy marriage and your needs are being met, and you feel like you're catering to each other in ways that's benefiting the other person, you're living a soft life.
Yeah.
So can men live a soft life?
I think so.
Absolutely.
I think so. We're definitely entering the age where men need to bring it down. They need to bring it down because we're calling
what we call it soft. Okay, we call it something else
for them.
Because my man, he probably won't. He doesn't want to be called soft.
I feel like we need to ask the men that question.
They could think.
I don't know.
Right. What can we call it for you guys? Right.
Right.
But I think because we also need to embrace, yes, they do have the weight of, being the structure in the household, the leader in the household.
How about we call it the peace life?
Sure.
Like peace.
I love it. I love peace.
A woman who is not going to annoy them, over talk, ask too many questions, make sure just be their peace.
Irvin calls it a hard
life.
Of course he was. Of course he was. Of course he was.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Why, Irvin?
Why?
What exactly are we referring to, Sarah? Why do I even have to ask?
Well, he said pause, so you already know.
There's a good one on Instagram. I believe this is a man. The Reverend Realtor said the safe space life.
Ooh.
Because
I was thinking that too.
Listen,
with Bishop Greg Davis, and he was like, a man also wants to feel like he can trust his woman, he can feel safe with a woman. That's deep.
That's important because we're like, we want them to connect with us on like this emotional level, right? But they may not have the space, and sometimes we don't even create the space for them.
Come on.
So we have to be able to make that room to be vulnerable, to be safe. I'm not going to use anything in this space against you and being malicious at any one point. This is your space to put your guard down. This is your space for me to affirm you and and speak life into you. So I love that safe space term. I don't want, and it shouldn't be limited to like, a time of day. It just, while I'm living the soft life, you have your safe space.
And that's another S. Safe. Two S's. Okay. Like, no,
that's
seriously,
so good.
We got to think about it. It's not just about us. Sometimes we think that we have to be the ones always catered to. I have to have this. I have to have my needs met. But this is a two-way. Like,
what about my man?
Two to tango.
Absolutely.
What about my man? My man.
My husband.
You
become somebody else's man because you're not doing it. Her man.
You stepped on her.
Oh, I'm sorry. You invited Pastor T. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Listen, I just said ouch for everybody else, but I think we have to be honest. I'm thinking of just my husband. I'm just like, from like an outward appearance, I call him Mr. Incredible, right? Because to me, he really is incredible. As far as yeah. People see him from like on the exterior. It's just like, he's this tough guy and, he's just, paying attention, really observant, very introverted. But if I don't create that space for him to feel like he can, then I'm not going to be living the soft life that long.
Come on.
Because there's going to be some stuff that he's going to be building up towards me.
Let's go.
It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you. And what about me? So then you're going to notice that safety is going to start to dwindle a little bit. That security is going to start to dwindle a little bit. So if you don't create that safe space, we're not being aware that this is a two-way street. I can't, you know what? And you're gonna have to get to that scripture because I have notes. I don't want to jump to that.
We're coming there. Listen, the comments are going crazy. Like people are really. Somebody even said the supported life, right? Where you feel supported. Because when, like you said, if we're both content in this relationship, we're both benefiting.
Right.
Like if I only expect you to create that soft life for me, but I'm no way giving you that safe space or that safe haven or that support, then you're going to build some type of resistance and not give me what I need. Like I need my soft life. So I'm going to be over here creating a safe space for you.
I agree. And this is why, and this is for me personally, right? I hate the term happy wife, happy life. I hate that.
We always making about us, right?
I hate that term. I prefer the term happy spouse, happy house.
I love that.
That's the term I use, right?
That's so good.
And I always say, like, I always say, sometimes our men, they go through so many things in the outer world, right? And particularly for our Black men, they may deal with racism, they deal with microaggressions, they deal with bias, injustices. They deal with so many things on a consistent basis. When my husband come home, you're not about to fight me.
That's it.
I'm not creating this space where you have to be like, oh man,
I gotta go home again now, right?
Now I gotta deal with her mouth and her eyes. No, sir.
Not here.
Absolutely not. Because when you're walking through that door, I need you to be able to let go of the weight of the world and just know that you have now entered into your sanctuary.
Safe space. Safe space.
Your safe space.
There is nothing like it. If you talk to any man, they will let you know how important that is for them.
Yes.
Having that safe haven, like where they know that they can take off their capes, right?
Yes.
And not have to be Superman anymore. They can just be Clark Kent, right? That's that one. They can just be Clark when they get home, right? So creating that. So those of you who are, because someone even said, like, what about when we do create that safe space and they still go out?
Then that's between them and Jesus,
right? Right. Like
you've done, if you know in your heart of hearts, you have done your part. The man still steps out. That's between them and you got something else going on with you.
But guess who ain't staying? Because what you are not about to do.
Let's talk about not staying.
Right. What you are not about to do is tip this crown. What you not about to do?
Come on, adjust it real quick, okay? Like, no way, bro. No way.
I would never guess that Miranda's like 4'5". Would never guess.
Right. That's
Right.
between you and Jesus, sir. Don't you ever think about it.
Don't
Don't you
you
ever think
ever.
about it. So like
Don't you
that, and that also kind of goes back to your self-worth, knowing what you deserve, right?
Mhm.
Knowing what you're worthy of. You're worthy of a good man.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies.
Amen.
And for the men who are watching, you're worthy of a good woman. Right? Good woman.
Absolutely.
Excuse
Absolutely.
me. There's power in the words of a woman, in the words of a wife. We have the power to either tear down
Yes.
or build our man up.
Yes.
Right? So the words you choose to use, even when you're upset, are so important.
Yes.
I have to filter
Yes.
my words in like
Yeah.
the conversations that we're having that are probably a little heated. I have to really be intentional about filtering my words so that they don't come out the way I in my head they're sounding, right? Because I can destroy.
Correct.
And so we have to be very, very, very careful of that. Like your words have power.
Absolutely.
And that's why I was talking about like, well, what is the definition, the true definition of a strong woman? Some women feel, well, I could tell my man off. I can tell him how I feel. Actually, no, that's not it. The strength of a woman is a woman who can be humble and a
Yes.
woman who can pray. That's a whole nother thing. That's when you're strong.
Come on.
Who can
Come on, Pastor. Let us know.
No, I'm not gonna go there. You know, but a woman who can really humble themselves and be like, okay, let me take a step back, reprocess what I really want to say in my head. Let me change these words, lower my tone. Sometimes we're not always successful. Let's be real.
Come on.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it comes out.
Sometimes
it slips out.
Right. You know, but those times that it works, we see the difference.
We see
Yeah.
the
We
difference.
see the difference.
You are so right. And it's not really taking an L. Sometimes we may feel like
not at all.
I really wanted to say that, but you're really not taking an L because
No.
it's not me against you.
It never was.
It never was.
Right.
That's the thing. Once you start, it's like there's like an inner calibration that I'm working on, right? Like I'm being honest. I feel like there's a mechanism in my flesh that wants to, you think you're squaring up, and I'm like, wait, we both
Nuck
got
if
the
you
same
buck,
mindset.
right?
We came together, we built this home together. We are not against each other.
We're not.
Hold on, let me recalibrate. It does take some time to bring, like, I feel like sometimes even as women, like, our emotions be going so overboard, like way over there. And it's like this, reel it in and bring it down. Take a few breaths, have those multiple conversations with yourself. Like, am I tripping? I'm tripping. I really am. That's the whole inner
Right,
calibration.
go to the bathroom real quick.
No,
You
seriously.
and talk in the mirror. That's
Seriously.
what I do. Like, what did you do? Did you okay, you did. All
You
right.
did.
So
You did.
now you gotta go outside and you gotta say, I'm sorry. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, what about that
I'm
word?
sorry.
Sorry. Oh,
Sorry.
Because
I don't got the good
sometimes
ASMR
that's
thing,
how it comes out. Because I really don't want to say it, so it takes some time to come out.
Yes.
Humble yourself and
sorry.
say it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Maggie, for sharing that verse. Proverbs 14, verse
Yes.
1. The wise woman builds
Mm.
her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down. Remember, this is our house. Like, we
Yes.
built this.
Yes.
Right. And so it's not. So when you are, I think that's the plan of the enemy, right?
Absolutely.
He hates marriage.
Division.
He wants to cause division. So he's gonna make it seem like you guys are at war with one another.
Right.
When it was never intended to be that way.
Absolutely.
Right.
Disagreements are gonna happen.
Yes.
It's part of life, right? But you share your stance, he shares his stance. If it gets a little crazy and too heated, someone has to be the diffuser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if that's your strong suit, right? Then you filter those words. All right, babe. You know what? You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It may not, and it may not really be what you want to say.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
But you say it anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or just saying, this was not my intention, right? Because I think sometimes just saying, I'm sorry, you're right, and you don't really want to say it, but you communicate a lot better when you're able to get your spouse to understand what your intentions were, right? And sometimes it's having that conversation and saying, the way I process this, and I use that language a lot with my husband sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like the way, let me help you understand how I'm processing this in my mind.
Yeah.
Right. And I find when I use that language, it brings us to a place of understanding. Correct? Right. And so sometimes it's not just I'm sorry, but it's let me help you understand why I said what I said or I did what I did. And you may not necessarily agree with it in the end, and that's okay. But in the end, we're not against each other. Right? We're on the same team. So if I understand why you did what you did, and you understand why I did what I did, then we can come to a middle ground and still love up on each other and understand that, hey, we're in this together, right? We're on the same team.
It's us. Somebody said it's us against the problem.
Absolutely.
You are not the problem. I'm not the problem. Thank you for sharing that. I want to say that person's name. I can't do this. Urbis, why are you helping me over here? Someone said it. Thank you from Instagram. Yes, Shani said it.
Shani is a professional mental health therapist.
Ooh, she
was at the God Girl conference.
Shani.
It was Friday though. You didn't come to Friday. You didn't come to Friday.
I did come to Friday. I don't think I came early enough. But yes, it's both of us against the problem. We are not the problem.
Right.
We have a problem. Let's tackle this problem.
Very good.
Right. Yeah. I love that. And so so listen, soft life all the way. Like, you want to develop that soft life, and that's created in a healthy relationship. That soft life, that supportive life, that safe space life. Let's create it for our people, for our person, right? Because that's healthy, right? That's healthy. And so the next S I kind of want to delve into tonight. This is, you know what? This probably should have been a whole different live in itself, right?
Yes.
And I don't know where you're going with this
long road. You got to take the road with the detours before we get to this. This essentially is a FaceTime call, to be honest with you.
Right.
We're gonna touch everything else before we hit what we actually got to talk about.
right. So there's this this dirty word. This dirty word that people are so against. And growing up, hearing the word and kind of seeing what I thought the word meant, right? It made me not want to really consider it.
Right? I know where you're going.
And so it's like, we want to talk about it tonight. We want to talk about it. Like, what does it look like to you? What does it mean to you? How yeah, well, we'll get to the questions in a second. But I wanted to talk about, let's talk about something else. No.
I was trying to chime in with you.
I know, I was about to say it. And I was like, nah, let me laugh.
All right, let's talk about submission. Did I just say a bad word? Uh-oh.
Not a bad word.
It's not a bad word.
An amazing word.
Let's talk about submission. Let's talk about submission. Let me read the verse real quick that I want to share.
Yes.
Excuse me. It's found in Ephesians. Because we love Jesus in here, right?
Amen.
All the way.
All right. It says, so now I'm not only going to read, okay, I'll read the verse alone, but then I'm going to read the verses around it, because when you're reading a verse, guys, don't only read the verse, right? Read before, read after it, so you can get kind of full context.
Yes.
To better serve your mind, because sometimes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the verse alone says, "Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord." But then when you read 21 to 25, oh gosh, excuse me. You get submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Huh? A little bit, yeah. No, because I'm going to pee. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Wives, submit to yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Somebody said, come on, submission. Come on, submission. Okay. Now, growing up, like I said, this word was kind of like a death sentence for women. Honestly, in the way that I learned it, and the way I heard it, the way I kind of even saw it, right?
Yeah.
It was like a death to you when you get married.
Right.
Like you become this slave.
That's some
massa, right? And that's another word. Like
right.
You automatically become this slave that has no mind of your own, that now has to just follow who the person that's wherever he wants to lead you, you go. Even if it's in a ditch, you go.
Right.
That's kind of like what it was, how it was represented or shared, right? And I feel like some people still get that image when they hear the word submission.
Of course.
But this is going to be the last S tonight, lady, y'all, okay? Because I feel like this is going to be a kind of meaty one. I kind of wanted to shed some light on submission and what it is not, right? What does submission look like in your home? And kind of just sharing your experiences, just to kind of show the good side, right? Because when we think about it, we always focus on the negative connotation or the negative side to it. So so let's go. What is it to you? Like,
I remember, just like Anne, I remember growing up, and I always attributed to Terry. I don't know if you could agree, but always going to a Haitian wedding, and when the pastor is doing the vows.
I'm sorry, because like, why is this on the screen?
Because
Irvin's girl song.
She's handling the text, and that's why.
Right. I need to handle it myself. I'm just not.
I love my brother. I do. I really do.
Lord. Okay, I'm sorry, Tamara.
No,
you were interrupted.
I remember, like, at Haitian weddings, when the pastor is doing like their meditation or their sermon, when they get to this part, they're talking directly at the woman, and they're saying, he's the master of the house. He's the head of the house. You need to listen. You need to this. You need to that. Everything was directed at the woman. Not at one point does the pastor turn to the man and give any other commands. Everything was focused on the woman. Submit her. You have to submit. You have to listen. You have to follow. You have to, put your body whenever he wants your body. Whenever he wants kids, you give him kids. Everything was focused on her. And I was like, I don't know. I remember that was the time in my life was like, well, I don't want a Haitian man because I don't want to deal with that. Because I thought it was, something in our culture. Yeah. But to your question, Anne, I've heard this definition before, and it is trusting that your husband is trusting God, so that he follows that. It's like an umbrella. I will never forget this picture of this umbrella. I will never forget. It's like it's the umbrella, and it's the husband, and the woman falls underneath it. The way that I define it, submission is not weakness. Submission is not weakness. Not only is it not weakness, but the verses that Anne just read, those are two separate commands. One to the wife, one to the husband. There's no condition in between the two. It is not when your husbands love your wives, then wives submit to your husband. That's not there. We have to be very mindful that we're not adding stuff to the scripture when the scripture don't say it. They are two separate things. So there are commands for each of us to follow. I find rest in submission that I know that my husband is speaking to his manager. If you speak to him, listen,
his manager, his supervisor.
Come on,
let's go.
Trusting that he is doing that. And then if there are concerns, because I love when Ann was talking about, like, there are a lot of relationships that struggle with this because they're in different phases of it. But single women, don't just drive by this verse neither. Just because it's talking to wives, you have to think when you are in, whether it's in a current relationship or you're looking to date, when you're looking at some of these men, it's like, would I be able to submit under what you're saying? Would I be able to submit under some of the decision making? I'm looking at your life choices. I'm looking at the way you manage relationships. I'm looking at, can I submit under the way that I see you move? So single women,
that's the data that you're collecting as you're dating, right?
Because some of the things that we talked about earlier are ramifications of not doing that data analysis.
Come on.
Right.
They're not. I'm struggling to, I'm fighting with you because maybe you never had the qualities of someone that I needed to submit to under in the first place.
At all.
So we're residing in a place that is, it's like God gives us the blueprint. It's up to you if you want to follow it or not.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want the soft life or not. Because if you want the soft life,
girl, you are speaking tonight.
Can she drop her Cash App, please?
If you want the soft life, if you want the safe space life, it's in the book. The book gives you the blueprint. I find safety in trusting that my husband is seeking the Lord. My husband is
what?
Seeking
the Lord.
My husband is seeking the Lord. He's trusting in his vision. Submission also doesn't mean that my husband is going to talk at me. Submission is still conversation. We still
time out. Y'all taking notes?
Listen, this is so good.
It's still coming together. It's not like, oh, I got this download from God. He told us that we got to move to Montana and I got to build a church. No.
Correct. It's not loss of power.
It's not that. It's not that. It's based on
it's not loss of power.
No, it's not. It's based on what the conversation, the prayer, the seeking.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking. How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Well, this is what makes me feel safe. This is what makes me feel secure.
Yeah.
What can we do to meet in the middle about that? Yeah. All right. Based on that information, I'm going to go back to God about it. Yeah. It's not being talked at. It's not being ordered. It's not being commanded. It's still resting in the trust that your husband is trusting in God. That's where I reside. As of June 18th, 2016, that is where I reside with submission. And that is where I stay.
Yeah.
As soon as I may have to question, now I may have to speak to your manager for you. That's fine. I'm not going to talk to you. I may have to go to God on your behalf. I will do that. Absolutely. I will absolutely go to God on your behalf. But I'm not going to cause this division between you and I when I'm trusting that you're doing what like my image before. You driving. Bro, I'm going to take a nap, and I'm trusting that you did your due diligence to make sure that we get to our destination safely.
Yeah, I think, so many times when we think about the word submission, there's just this negative connotation to it, right? And so you automatically think a loss of power. You think that, women are underneath their men and, you're not able to thrive and be your best version, and you're not able to live your lives. You're not able to have a social life. You have to do everything the man says. And that's really not it. When you think, and one of the things I did, I broke down the word submission, right? Mm-hmm. And we look at the word sub, meaning under, but we also look at the word mission, meaning an important assignment. You're asking women, don't you throw that book, Terry. If you're asking women to submit, God was entrusting women with an important assignment.
So good.
And an assignment to care for your home, an assignment to care for your children, right? An assignment to create that safe space.
So good.
And an assignment to love. All of those things are really important, right? So when we look at the word submission, you are under an important assignment. That's what I see it. And so my value don't decrease, right? Because I am on an important assignment. There is value to me. Right?
Come on.
There is value to me.
My value does not decrease because I decide to submit.
Correct.
And that's how you've known that you've submitted to the right one, because my husband is going to make decisions based on not only what Jesus tells him, right? But he's going to consider me and what I like and who I am, right? When he comes with these decisions, it's not something totally against me, but it's including me.
Exactly.
And I dare say that I'm at the forefront of that decision. Because that's one thing I know. When my husband makes a decision, the first thing he thinks about is how is it going to impact
me? Absolutely.
I am at the forefront of what, and I know it, right? Because I see it on a daily basis. I know I'm at the forefront of that decision.
And I think that's I think.
I know.
That's why it is so important who you marry.
So much.
You don't just jump into marriage, sis, with just anybody.
Correct.
Who cares if he looks good?
0 out of 10.
Do not recommend. God?
Do not recommend.
Do
not.
If he is not submitted to God, you're gonna
my God.
You're both gonna be the problem. It's because you're hearing it, like the trust that I can submit to him because I know that he's submitted to his supervisor. He's submitted to God, right?
Yeah.
He goes before God to ask, Lord, where am I leading my family? How are the decisions that I'm going to make affect my wife?
Yes.
Our children, our future, right?
Yeah.
Having that security. So like someone even shared earlier, someone said, I actually love, I want to see, I think it was Maggie. She said, I love that. I love submitting to my man in every way. When you have someone that loves you, that caters to you, that provides that soft life,
right?
It's easy.
No problem.
It's not an issue. It's so easy to submit, right?
Whatever you like.
Whatever you like. You're fried, right? So it's like, and so this is kind of like a message, not only to the women about making sure that you choose wisely, you choose carefully, but also to the men who are watching out there. You have no idea how important your relationship like this.
Yes. Before we get here.
That's it.
Because once this is intact,
yes,
come on,
this will be intact.
Absolutely.
Your wife will be secure.
Yes.
In a space where she not that she's gonna do what you say, because it's not about that. Like we just said that. When my husband and I have a decision to make, we come together, we talk about it. What was a pause right there?
Ooh.
We come together. So he said,
bro, Irvis, why you got that? When he does, listen, when he does the guys version of this,
I'm going to be tuned in. I am so going to be tuned in because
I'm going to be in the comment
every other second is going to be a pause, y'all. Like,
I'm gonna be in the comment section like this. You gotta learn how to control the media. The tech when he
I'm gonna learn.
You gotta do the media so you can pause.
So, when we have a decision to make, right? We come together. We weigh the options. I share my piece. He shares his piece. But get this: at the end of the day, I trust him to make a decision that will benefit the family. Not everybody is okay with that. And you're not okay with it because you don't trust.
Yes.
You're not in a space where you feel
to deal with you and what you are allergic to, I want to say, in your mind, in your emotion, and in your heart. That's why it's so important to be on the path to healing that, because we won't get to that space when we have to make decisions. Ultimately, it's like, I just want to get to a space where we're just serving each other.
Yeah.
And when we're serving each other, it's like a balance, back and forth. Serving each other while I'm trusting in you, you're trusting in God, we're making balanced decisions. Serving each other just becomes easy. Submission I'm not going to say submission is easy, but it becomes easier to hear one another out. It becomes easier to, and sometimes that's when you have to come together and pray with each other and pray over those decisions together. And then it will lead to whatever he has to do. But that's why it's so important. We can't remove the importance of having to deal with the lack of what that is, that lack of self-value, that lack of self-worth, that lack of healing that trauma, of wanting to be on the fence, of wanting, because not for nothing, a lot of us women were raised by super alpha women that were very much married. Very much married. Very much married. But if homeboy is not doing it, trust, a decision is going to be made at the end of the day. And that's going to come from me. So there are, like Miranda was talking before, there are a lot of 2-parent homes, but how did we see submission look like? Was submission in the room? Was submission in the room while we were growing up from 2-parent homes? So there's a lot of unlearning that has to happen in order to get to that space. Unlearning. Of coming together and making decisions together, because that's not easy for a lot of people. Once we see red flags, we're like, wait, hold up. Actually, you know what? Let me take over. And that's when we sever any opportunity to get to submission, get to trust, and get to serving each other.
Yeah. Because the woman that's not healed or has had poor examples, I could just see her like, don't tell me what to do.
Right.
Actually,
you ain't my daddy.
No man.
My daddy's name was okay. Well, actually, he had you, and I think I love everything that was discussed regarding submission. I think the only word that we've missed out is respect. Submission also means respecting your man.
Respecting, and you know what?
Period.
Because I spoke like the word like respect. It equates to love for men.
That's it.
Like when you respect them, it shows that you love them. It's the same thing for them. You don't respect them, like you don't love me.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
And so like that, like you said, that unlearning. And then thank you, Reese, she said relearning, right? Putting yourself in a space to now, okay, I have to unlearn these things, but let me learn it the right way. Like there are resources out there everywhere that you can go, but first go to the Bible. Like I want us to not undervalue, right, the power of the word, right? And all the truth in it. And I do love that it also says submit to one another.
Yes.
Right. Because it's not like what I know that you care for me. I know that my words matter. I know that my ideas or my opinions matter when you take them into consideration.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's a form of submission as well.
Yeah.
You're submitting to my ideas as well. Like it's not just about you. And there's so many in our culture, and tell me if it's the same in yours, Terry. Like no one knows where you're from.
I am from Guyana and Ghana. Yay.
So now this West Indian cultures, right? Like what? Like many of the marriages that we've seen, right? It's been he's been the chef, he's been the leader, he's been the boss, right? And then the women have to just do what he says, right? And we've seen that.
Yeah.
So like the culture has portrayed that, but that's where we have to, is same thing for you, right? Right, Terry?
Absolutely.
So we have to unlearn that and like relearn how is it really done? How did God really intend it? Right? It's not just I already put that up. Not just for us to be walked all over like we're doormats.
Yeah, man.
Because I got something to say.
Yes.
Whole lot.
Yes.
And sometimes I really feel like my ideas are better.
But how do we say
that? But here's the thing, and I love that Maggie said something earlier in the comments. She said something about the greater good of the family, right? Is it for the greater good of the family? That's the end result.
Yeah.
Right? And that's at the end of the day, that's the question you have to answer with any decision. And so, you know, it's about taking into consideration, because maybe, yes, maybe, and whatever idea you have, maybe that is the best idea. And it's for the greater good. It doesn't only benefit you, but it benefits Irvins and it benefits the children, right? It's for the greater good of the family. And so I think that's the ultimate question at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And if you're able to answer that with every situation, with every issue, is it for the greater good of us? Is it for the greater good of our family?
Absolutely.
And that's where communication comes in. And that's why I love the fact that couples are, in my opinion, supposed to discuss every decision. Like, unless the Lord told you A, B, C, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't play what the Lord says either. All right. If the Lord has given us very specific instructions, okay, but if this is a Holy Spirit inspired idea, let us discuss it.
Yes.
You know, because especially me as the wife, I may have a different perspective because, well, I may know the kids a little schedule a little bit better. So, well, maybe we should. Oh, yeah, you do have. Let's talk
about that.
You know?
It's okay if God told you that. I still have questions. I still have questions. God said is not the end necessarily.
I believe you, but I still have questions.
I still have questions.
She said that's okay if y'all had a conversation.
That's fine.
Right.
And I think that also lends to us knowing our value. Like, we have something to say.
Yes.
Like, when you know your value, you know that what your, like, the thoughts that God has given you, the, like, your perspective matters, right? Your ideas matter. Even your decisions matter. And as you bring it to the table to discuss it, now you've been heard.
Right.
So creating that space where you can be heard.
Right. And I think that's where it becomes a little skewed or a little scary as well, because if you're marrying someone with that, I'm going to call it an old school mindset. You know, some men, some older ones still have the idea that men speak and women shut up. Okay. Like, even in the Bible days, like, women were powerless.
Yeah.
Like Deborah, Esther, they were mentioned with these stories because it's like, no, this wasn't done. Like, there was no Michelle
normal.
Nowadays, where we're seeing like Michelle Obama's and these powerhouse women, you know, and I love it, you know, but in all of our power, we also have to know how to come home and still submit to the. I still have to know our role as a wife.
That's that virtuous woman. Yes. She's clothed in strength and beauty. Strength and beauty. Y'all, I think we did a good job unpacking it and kind of representing it, right? In a way. He said Mike Todd. This, Lord, but in a way,
I just have one thing.
Go ahead.
And I love that we've repackaged it, but you just don't submit to mess. And you know what mess is, right? I don't want to hear anybody talking about they joined Love Talks with the Garcons and we told them to submit, and now you submitted to mess. You know what mess is.
Yes.
Listen, I'm pointing it out. Because what you're not about to do is attach my name.
Listen,
talking about we done told you to submit, and
thank you for reeling it back.
You submitting to mess. So submission doesn't mean submitting to mess, right? You know, and I think it's really important that we hone in on that, right? You're submitting to someone who has the best intention in mind for you.
Yes.
Right. And I felt like I don't know why I felt like I really needed to say that.
No. I'm glad you did.
Because you can't submit to mess. If that red flag is right there, run.
Yeah.
Don't submit to mess.
And it reminds me of something I was reading the other day, where a wife was just kind of speaking about her battle in a narcissistic marriage.
Wow.
And she grew up hearing, you got to submit, you got to
Yeah.
submit, you got to submit. But he was abusing her in all sorts
Yeah.
of ways.
Yeah.
And he was, and she had to really come to the realization that, listen, my father
Yes.
would not want this for me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they told me to submit,
Mhm.
but he's not even submitted to you.
Yes.
Right.
So if he's not submitted to you, you're my ultimate authority, God. Like,
Correct.
you're my ultimate authority.
Mhm.
Yeah, you did place him as the head of our household,
Correct.
but the head is just not acting right.
Yeah.
The head is kind of broken, right? Or is not in its right place.
Mhm.
And so I love that you did bring that up, Miranda, because I feel like it's definitely, we have to think about that other side.
Yeah.
There are some men who abuse this joint to the point of a woman like being silenced.
Yes.
And we will not be silenced. No, I'm not stuttering. I just got to stress the S, right? We will not be silenced,
Mhm.
because if your husband is not submitted to God,
Yes.
at the end of the day, God is your final authority. What
That's
God says and what God wants for you. Any good father wants his daughter to be protected.
Yeah.
Any good father wants his daughter to have a soft life.
Yes.
Right. And so that, and I'm so thank you once again, Miranda, for sharing that. You don't submit to mess. You don't submit to narcissism. You don't submit to abuse, right? You don't submit to all that negativity.
Domestic violence.
You don't submit to domestic
emotional violence. You don't submit to those.
All of the above.
If anything, we just reintroduce the right definition of what submission is supposed to look like, and we reintroduce it in equipping, because some women just they go off what they were learned, they go off how they were brought up, they go off with the examples that were with them, and they probably are not aware that there's a larger aspect to it where you are not silent when you're submitting.
Yeah.
May I ask a question? I know this is not my show. May I ask a question?
No, please. This is our show tonight, ladies. It's our show.
What are some ways that a woman who may be listening can identify that maybe I have not been the most submissive wife, or maybe something in me is going to prevent me from submitting when that time comes? Are there any practical things that we can put out there so a woman may be like, oh, I may need to work on that?
I think someone shared even earlier. I think submission also begins with like kind of listening and hearing out. Sometimes we're so quick to speak over someone and not really consider what they have to say, right? We always are on the defense mode, where if you feel so defensive all the time, where you feel like everyone is against you, or someone is going to say something that's going to be, that's going to kind of bring you down, then I feel like there has to be some work on really taking time to listen and consider what other people are saying. I think that's one. I also feel like sometimes what we've gone through in our past, we'll say trauma, dictates how we treat everybody else in our future. How we portray ourselves, how we show up in the world. Right? And if you have any areas, sometimes people will even tell you certain things about yourself. If you got a good friend, she'll let you know, like, you're too negative. Like, sis, bring it back. Like, you're too quick with your mouth, right? You're
why the man don't want you, sis.
Right. And so sometimes we have to address those traumas that not sometimes, let's say all the time, right? We got to address those traumas that we've been through, so that we don't carry it into future relationships.
Can I add, being content with where you are and who you are, right? Your journey is yours and yours alone. It's yours, right? And so I heard this statement that jealousy is the thief of joy, right? You just got to be content with where you are in your life and understand that what God has for you is for you. nobody can take that away from you.
Mm.
Right. And so, and I said this earlier, if you don't like yourself, if you are not confident in yourself, you're going to walk into a space and someone will see that lack of confidence.
Can I share a different perspective too, though? There are some people who like themselves and they're very nasty.
It's true.
You like yourself a little too much.
That's true.
There are some people who are content with being negative. Right?
That's a fact.
If you keep losing friends, it's not like you are the common denominator, right? And so you gotta think about if you gotta be secure in your goodness, right? Like you gotta be secure in who you are, like when you are when you're a good person.
Yeah.
Because some people are really mean and not nice, and they're okay with that. This is me. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna just live my life. You can't tell me what to do, right? And it's like really it's nasty.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? And so you need people around you that will tell you the truth.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Awareness. You gotta be aware.
You gotta be aware.
Yeah.
Listen, and you gotta pray because prayer will tell you about you.
Absolutely.
That's what I was gonna say. Listen, there's nothing that you can't ask God for. It can be a simple God, show me me.
Yes.
Show me me.
Show me me. Especially as single woman. I feel like that should be the prayer before you even get with somebody else.
Yeah.
And if you're already in that position, you can still pray the same prayer. God, show me me. Especially if you feel like your husband there's a disconnect and he's drawing a little further back. I'm not saying you may be the problem, but still it can be a prayer. Show me me.
Yeah.
I wanted to add just two really quick practical tips really quick. Take inventory of anything around you that may be contributing to your lack of submission. Is it people that are speaking a little too close? Is it what is it in your environment that could be how you feel that could be warping your ability to do that?
Yeah.
And then if you're struggling to say, well, how do I find yourselves some people with a little bit more miles in marriage? Come up under them.
More mouths.
I was just saying to Irvis the other day, I was like, he asked me about kind of like the engagement, like like what I was like, when I look at Ann and Irvin's, they already been through year 8. They already been through year 7. They already been through year 6. Yeah. And because I'm thankful that they've chosen transparency and being honest about what they've gone through. I'm like, okay, I have people that I know that they trust, that they're walking with the Lord and they've done this, then, we can connect, find seasoned married folks that can at least pour into you some examples, some things that probably you're not implementing in your own marriage. And of course, people that you trust, because you have to have a level of accountability, a level of honesty and transparency with them. But at least if you're looking for a blueprint, pray to the Lord as a couple on how y'all can serve each other, because we're doing it's each other. It's not just
anyway.
Right? It's each other. It's not just me. I'm not the one that's gonna be going, but praying about it and having the Lord reveal to y'all, a married couple that has been through things and can mirror and help you mirror what those qualities look like in a submissive wife, in a serving husband, in a loving husband. I think just 2 practical tips just for the wife or for the woman that's like, well, how do I do this? Like, y'all are married, I'm not, or I've been struggling in my marriage. Like, how do I do this? On how you can kind of navigate that.
You got to truly want it for yourself. You got to truly want it for you to actually do something you've never done.
And change your viewpoint on submission, even for some people.
Change it. Listen,
it's a beautiful thing, honey. Yeah. You want that soft life? Give the man what he wants.
Submit, baby.
Give him what he wants.
That's a commercial. You want that soft life? Submit, baby.
I mean, we could just end with this. I mean, like, the soft life does lead to better sex.
You get whatever.
That's what it is.
Girl, don't start it now.
Urban, go away.
Bye.
You call his name real quick.
Bye.
Sex. He shows up.
Unbelievable.
Bye.
Goodness. Ladies, oh my gosh. I just want
That's
to say thank
Virtual hugs all around.
you. Y'all, did you guys enjoy this conversation?
Yes.
Absolutely. Thoroughly.
Oh my God.
It was amazing.
Yeah, guys, you thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys really, really added so much value to this conversation tonight.
Thank you.
And listen, I don't think I could have picked anybody else. I mean, don't be jealous out there. But you guys really, really created, helped me really create this super live.
Yes.
No, I just want to say thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for taking your time out to really add your perspective, your knowledge on certain topics. Sissy even came with the research, like.
Period.
Listen, you got that on Love Talks, okay?
Great.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you again. I'm gonna say goodbye and talk to my people for about another minute. And just yeah, we'll catch up. And I love you guys so much.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
and
thank
my
you,
absolute
Ann.
pleasure.
Loves and
Great.
hugs and kisses to you all. Love. I love you guys.
Bye.
Guys.
So y'all, thank you. Everybody else, you can send back. I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight, guys. I was solo tonight. I was solo, but you guys really, really hung in there with me. I really appreciate that, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming. Before I go, don't forget to follow us on all of our platforms. You can take a picture of the QR code, and you can you put up what my mom just said? You can take a picture of the QR code and follow us on all our platforms. We have some amazing things coming up, and we want you to be in the know. My mom just said, bravo, ladies. You guys are amazing. Your conversations are really helpful. Thank you so much for always tuning in, then. Listen, when we don't tune in, she'll call me and say, hey, where's the talk tonight? So thank you so much, Mom. And thank you guys once again for showing up tonight. Thank you for rocking with me for all this time. And I will see you guys with hubby next time. I know he popped in when he shouldn't have, but I will see you guys next time when it's the both of us. Thank you, Instagram. Love you guys. Love you guys. And this will be saved on YouTube. Okay. So if you want to share it with someone, go ahead and share it on YouTube. It will not be on IG, but it will be on YouTube. All right, y'all. Deuces. Bye.